Ties Between Dimensions Chapter 4, Opening Up. Emmy was at the communication terminal in the Resistance base, monitoring the movements of the troops and Eggman's badniks. She sighed as tears trickled down her cheeks. Emmy could barely take it, sure. They were keeping Eggman and his robots at bay, but it wasn't the same without Sonic. She opened the locket around her neck. Contained within it was a picture of her and Sonic. The pink hedgehog clutched it to her chest.
Sonic! Where are you?
Emmy thought. Tails and Knuckles soon walked into the base, both looking a bit beat up. Emmy looked over and gasped, running to their side.
Knuckles, Tails, are you okay?
Knuckles brushed himself off.
Fine. Eggman's badniks aren't.
They weren't pushovers either.
We lived right.
Only by the skin of our teeth. If Sonic were here, it wouldn't have been as hard.
Tails, calm down!
Emmy interjected. The fox boy sighed.
Sorry, I just wish he was here.
Me too.
Hey, you all are talking like he's dead or something. Sonic's still out there. I know it.
Emmy sighed and looked out the window.
I hope you're right.
Maddie walked into the living room with a sobbing Sonic in her arms. Tom, taking a break from the festivities, turned to his wife as she entered.
Is Maurice okay?
He just hurt himself. I'm going to go to the guest room to check him out.
Maddie replied with a knowing glance. Tom nodded, as if knowing exactly what the real situation was.
Alright, take your time. Hope he's okay.
With that, Maddie walked toward the guest room, opened the door, and sat down on the bed with Sonic in her arms. Maddie stroked the boy's quills. The tears didn't stop flowing. Sonic had realized how much he's kept in. The pain of just keeping his emotions all inside to create an act of being a hero. Now, he just let it out and cried into Maddie's chest.
Hey, it's okay.
I'm sorry.
Sonic managed to get out, sounding more like Wachowski than himself.
For what?
Sonic sighed as he calmed down a little, at least enough to speak coherently.
For having to see me like this, I never cry. I didn't even cry when I was imprisoned.
Imprisoned, Maddie wanted to know how this occurred, but that could wait.
And why's that? Surely you have parents or someone to turn to.
Not really. I keep a lot of this stuff to myself.
Sweetie, that isn't healthy.
Sonic wiped his tears. He hated tears, especially when he was the one producing them.
I don't want to seem weak, lame, or uncool, especially not to those who look up to me.
Maddie placed her hands on the teen's shoulders.
Sonic, you shouldn't be afraid of appearing vulnerable. You can open up to people.
Sonic simply looked and listened. Maybe she was right. Maybe it was time for him to allow himself to actually cope with the trauma that had been built up throughout his life. Taking a deep breath, he let out a sigh.
I've seen friends nearly die and witnessed so much just utter destruction, and I just have to move on and not let it get to me. I've been fighting this war against my universe's Eggman for as long as I could remember. And seeing your Sonic just allowed to just be a kid, it made me realize just how messed up my life really isn't. I don't have a home. I don't even really have a family.
Maddie hugged Sonic again.
Sonic, I can't even imagine what you've been through. But you're wrong about one thing. You do have a family. Not only Tom, myself, and other you, but your friends as well. And it's time you start opening up to them.
But what if they just see me as being too emotional or clingy?
I'm sure they want, sweetie.
Sonic sighed as more tears flowed. It broke Maddie's heart when she saw her Sonic like this. And seeing it again from this alternate version of him gave her that exact same feeling.
Sonic, how old are you?
15.
And you've been fighting this Eggman since you were how old?
Probably since I was 5.
Maddie gasped. The teenager was barely older than her own son but has experienced so much strife.
And you've kept all of this bottled up inside all this time.
Like I said, I hit tears. I just gotta keep going.
Maddie said nothing and just rubbed soothing circles into Sonic's back. Sonic gasped as tears once more formed in his eyes. This woman, this stranger, he had only just met a few days ago, yet he felt comfortable enough to open up to her like this. The tears started flowing again as he gently gripped her shirt. All the pain he had experienced, all the loss that he had not allowed himself to mourn over, it swept over him like a rushing wind as he was rocked in Maddie's arms.
Just let it out. It's okay.
Sonic felt so weak, helpless, and juvenile. The smile he wore in front of his friends and enemies hid years of pain that he kept inside. But now, there was no more hiding, just tears. Maddie held him close to her, stroking his grills. After some time had passed, and the crying had calmed down, Sonic looked up at Maddie tearfully.
Feeling better.
Sonic nodded. Maddie smiled and gave his ears a quick rub before setting him on the bed.
Sonic, you're not weak for expressing yourself like this. In fact, I'd say you might be even stronger now.
How so?
You finally allowed yourself to break free of this so-called image of yourself and process everything you've gone through. You told me earlier that you've seen friends nearly die right in front of you, right?
Sonic sighed.
I've seen at least one of them die right in front of me.
And you didn't allow yourself to mourn, didn't you?
Sonic nodded once more.
Sonic, it's natural to mourn for those you've lost. Being a hero doesn't mean you have to keep it all in.
It doesn't?
Truthfully, I kinda had a feeling something was up for a while, but I didn't want to push you. I remember our Sonic taking a little while to open up to, but once he did, he felt a whole lot better. Opening up, especially to a stranger like me, takes a lot of courage.
Do you? Do you think I should be this open with my friends?
Of course, that's what friends are for.
I guess you're right.
Sonic smiled but then felt his chest tighten slightly.
Hey, I have a weird question, but I was wondering, if you are this Sonic's mom, does that mean you're my mom too?
I guess, in a way.
Okay, Mom.
He wrapped his arms around Maddie. Tears filled his eyes once more, but these were formed due to the immense joy he felt in his heart and not the pain from earlier. Was this what having a family felt like? Being held in Maddie's embrace seemed familiar. It reminded him of a simpler time, one before he was swept up in this endless war between himself and the doctor. Maddie smiled down at him. The blue blur's reaction was similar to the reaction her blue devil had just minutes before to his adoption. Her question from last night had been answered, other dimension or not. This was still her son. She held the teen close to her as she rubbed his back. Maddie set him back on the bed.
I'll go get your crutches. I forgot to grab them when I found you.
How long do I have to use those stupid things? You said I was healing quickly, right?
We could probably take that cast off soon and replace it with a boot, but we don't exactly have one of those lying around. So we'll have to schedule an appointment with our Sonic's doctor or something.
A boot? Why can't you just take it off and let me walk on it normally?
Maddie chuckled at the teen's impatience.
You're not out of the woods just yet, but you're almost there. At least you will be able to walk on it, but no running yet.
Lame.
Maddie laughed. He really was just like their Sonic. Sonic limped out of the guest room. At this point, the party had died down, and only Wade, Martha, and her son Fred remained. Noticing Sonic's entrance, Wachowski ran to him.
Hey, Big Me. Guess what? I'm officially a Wachowski.
That's great, bud.
You okay? They told me you got hurt.
I'm fine.
His thoughts went back to his interaction between Maddie and himself from before. He had parents now, in a way, however. Something in him needed confirmation of this. An actual adoption would be difficult due to him, well, not being from this dimension and eventually having to return home. He figured he'd ask anyway, just to have an answer. The party continued for a little bit, and when it ended, Wachowski went upstairs to his room in the attic. Sonic knew that this was the moment to ask.
Maddie, Tom, can I talk to you guys for a bit?
Tom and Maddie turned to Sonic as they cleaned up from the party.
Sure, bud, what's up?
You might want to sit down for this one.
Tom and Maddie paused from their cleaning and sat down on the couch. The teen sighed.
I'm gonna be honest. Being here has changed my perspective on a lot of things. Seeing me being just a normal kid, it made me realize just how messed up my life is.
He took a deep breath as tears started to form in his eyes.
All my life, I've been fighting against my Eggman. I've seen things that no one my age should have had to see, including seeing one of my first friends die brutally in front of me.
He shuddered as he remembered that gruesome memory.
I didn't let myself feel it though. I just kept going. That's been my motto, just smile no matter how hard things get. No matter how much I wanted to just let it out. I just kept on acting like I was okay. When that really wasn't the case.
The tears from before returned in full force, but he had to keep himself from becoming a blubbering mess.
I didn't want to appear needy or uncool around my friends, so I never told them about any of this. I just kept on smiling, allowing it to just build and build.
His tears began to blur his vision. He couldn't keep it in as he fell to his knees and wept. Maddie got up, knelt beside him, and scooped him up into her arms. Sonic felt comforted by this once more as he rested his head on her chest. She carried him over to the couch and set him between her and Tom. Both of them put their arms around the teen as he wiped his tears.
To be honest, seeing your Sonic being able to have a normal life with a mom and dad made me feel kinda jealous, but at the same time, I'm happy for him. He doesn't have to worry about looking cool. And maybe I don't have to worry either. Maybe I could open up to my friends back home, though I never thought I would open up to you guys first. I mean, I just met you guys 2 days ago.
Yeah, I guess that's a bit weird, even if you're just another bird in our blue devil son.
Now or never.
He thought.
That's actually something I wanted to ask you guys. Would you be my parents too?
Of course, sweetie.
Yes, undimensional or not, but still our Sonic.
Sonic's chest tightened as he smiled. The happy tears from before also returned. He was overwhelmed.
Thank you, Mom, Dad.
Immediately, he was engulfed in a group hug by Tom and Nettie.
No problem, blue devil.
Actually, they call me Blue Blur where I come from.
Blue blur, I like it.
The attic door could be heard opening as the small feet of Wachowski ran from the ladder to the living room. He blinked upon seeing a tear-filled Sonic being hugged by his parents.
Hey, this group hug's still open. What's up?
Tom said nothing as he pulled him into the hug.
Nothing, just welcoming Big Sonic to the family.
Wachowski gasped.
I have parents and a big brother. That's so cool.
Sonic laughed through his overjoyed tears.
Yeah? Very cool.
He wiped his tears as he was swallowed by the embrace of his new family. They were all soon released from the embrace of one another. Maddie looked up at the time.
Getting kinda close to bedtime.
Good. Could I join in on store time tonight?
Of course, sweetie.
Maddie easily scooped up both hedgehogs into her arms. Sonic blushed a little.
You don't really need to carry me.
It's better than having you struggle up the ladder with your crutches.
Maddie chuckled. She carried them up to Wachowski's room. Lucky for her, Wachowski forgot to close the door behind him. Once inside, she set both hedgehogs down. Wachowski quickly climbed up into his bed while Sonic sat next to him on the edge of the bed. Maddie smiled at the adorable scene.
Now, what to read you to?
She scanned the shelves looking for a book.
We still haven't finished that superhero book.
And you were right. Maybe we should get Big You up to speed.
Maddie caught Sonic up and soon picked up where she and Wachowski had left off. Again, Sonic was reminded of a simpler time. Before again, when he too was read to like this, his eyes grew heavy, as did Wachowski's, and both hedgehogs soon drifted off to sleep. To be continued.